another bucket out. I do not want that drip ruining my carpet. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know. You are supposed to work that out. Just make sure the bucket doesn't overflow all over my Persian rug. Okay? Otherwise I'll turn you into a Persian rug. Hello? Hello? I'm back. And I have a play. I have another Greek play. Yes, we have another Greek play. What play are we doing? Oh, we are doing Medea. Medea. Oh, really good one, this one. This is one that actually seems to have stuff actually happen. Still don't see it though, but stuff happens. But before we start, remember there is the shop, blah, 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 where there are things, blah, 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 and there is Redbubble, blah, 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 blah. And if you don't want to spend money, you can like, subscribe, comment, and share, or I'll jump out from under the bed and scare you witless. Okay, there we're good. So, Medea. I know, I just need to say that name and you've already conjured up an image, haven't you? Because Medea and Clytemnestra are possibly the two most terrifying women in all of literature, not just ancient Greek literature. These are the archetype female villains. So let's see what it's like the play is like. So this is another play by Euripides. Okay, this is another play by Euripides. Our last one was by Euripides, and that was Alcestis. Now we're looking at Alcestis's cousin, Jason, and his foreign wife, Medea. So, basically, Medea opens at the very tail end of what is the story. And a lot of the story doesn't make a lot of sense if you don't know it. Like, you don't really understand the extremity of Medea's actions if you don't sort of have a bit of context. I'm going to have to give you a bit of context. So, Jason, his father was king, and Icolus, I think it is. His father was king, and he was deposed by his brother Peleus. And Jason was brought up in secret by one of the centaurs, actually, and he came back to his kingdom to try and reclaim it from his uncle. Bit like Hamlet. And his uncle said to him, "Oh, you can have the kingdom if you can bring me the golden fleece." Now, the golden fleece is this mythical or near mythical thing that is over in the foreign land of Colchis, which is on the far side of the Black Sea, like on the very edge of the known world. It's where the barbarians live. And so Jason puts together a crew, the Argonauts, and they go in search of the golden fleece. They have to get through the Dardanelles, they have to get past the Sirens. It's a whole big ordeal. And they get to Colchis, and in Colchis, Jason is helped by Medea, who is the daughter of the king, and the king of Colchis is the son of Helios. So he is a demigod. He's a demigod, which means that Medea is she's part goddess, and her auntie is Circe, the great witch. Okay, so these guys have quite a lineage. And what's Jason? Some nothing from nowhere. He isn't a demigod. He's a nothing from nowhere. But Medea falls in love with Jason. And she helps him defeat the various issues that her father comes up with and helps him get the golden fleece because she is a witch like her auntie. She is a devotee of Hecate. We have tea every Tuesday. Hecate and myself. Anyway, so she helps Jason get the golden fleece. This isn't even the play yet. This isn't even the play yet. You need to know all this for the play. When her father finds out that he's taken the golden fleece, he's going to send his fleet after them. And Medea has gone over to Jason's side. He's promised to marry her. She takes her younger brother with her. And in order to slow down her father's fleet, she kills her younger brother, cuts him into pieces, and throws him into the sea. Like, there's no going back. This woman is all in with Jason now. Okay? She can't go home. She's just, oh, bad. Bad. Okay? That's how all in she is with Jason. She saves them a couple of other times in the voyage home. They get back to Icolus, and Peleus won't give the kingdom back, even though Jason has brought the golden fleece. He won't give the kingdom back. So Jason tells Medea to, deal with this. So she does. She does. She deals with it. She's a good wife. Slightly bloodthirsty good wife, but she's a good wife. She convinces the daughters of Peleus, all of whom engage in this except for Alcestis. She convinces by killing and cutting up an old ram that she puts into a cauldron and then throws in magical herbs and things, and it comes out renewed as a young lamb. And she convinces the daughters that she can do this for their father. And so they kill their father and they cut him up in pieces, thinking they're going to do this wonderful thing of renewing their father. And she does nothing but leave the dead body in the cauldron. Of course, the son of Peleus, because he does have a son, and Jason hadn't really counted on maybe his cousin might be a bit pissed about his father being murdered by his sisters, and his sisters being duped like this. He kicks them out. And so they are now refugees, and they go to Corinth, where we now find them. Now, the king of Corinth is called Creon, but this is not the Creon of Oedipus Rex. This is a different Creon king of Corinth, not the same one. So Medea has now killed twice for Jason, and she is now in exile in Corinth, where with him and their 2 children. And Creon has proposed to Jason, you know what? Maybe you'd like to marry my daughter, hero of the Argonauts, bringer of the golden fleece. And Jason, because he is dumb, really, really dumb, because, I have a witch wife. This may not end well. This is like if Hamlet was married to Lady Macbeth. Okay? Hamlet and Lady Macbeth. That's the pairing we've got here. It's not a good pairing. It's not a good pairing. He says, yeah, I'd like to marry your blonde virgin daughter. I know. Yeah, I'm going to marry your blonde virgin daughter. So we open the play with Medea lamenting and wailing and cursing her husband and Creon and Chrysia. She is not happy. The nurse is so worried about everything that she is saying that she tells the tutor, take the boys in the back way. Take the boys in the back way. Don't let them anywhere near their mother, because we have no idea what she's going to do, but she is not in a good mood, and she is dangerous when she is like this. The Corinthian women come to visit Medea. Now, these are really odd. This is the chorus, and they are a really odd group, because while they condole with Medea as an abandoned woman, and they try to, moderate, they will, as you see, become implicated in her actions. But they come and they tell her, you're not by yourself. This is this is terrible, and all of these things. But you should not shut yourself up alone. And while Medea is somewhat, thank you, but I think I'm good. I'm not really capable of behaving like a Greek. I'm a Colcollan. We're somewhat different, and I cannot be other than my nature. Now, Medea is a very clever woman, and people are frightened of her. Especially the king, Creon. And Creon comes to Medea and says to her, I want you and your little brats out of the country. Gone. I want you gone. And Medea begs for one more day. And then she'll leave. And Creon relents. Creon's like, I don't want you here, but I guess I'll have to. And he gives her that day to get out of the city, because she has nowhere to go. It's like, I have nowhere to go. I don't know anyone. I'm a foreigner in this country. What am I supposed to do? Because traditionally, if that were the case, she would go back to her family, but her family are not an option. And of course, as a woman in Greece, she has forfeited her status. She was a princess in Colchis. She is now a foreigner and an abandoned wife. She is nothing by Greek law. And then, just as she's got this terrible blow of, you got to get out, I don't want you in the kingdom anymore, guess who shows up? Mr. Oblivious, Mr. Stupid, Mr. I didn't think things through very much. Not the murder of my uncle, certainly not the abandonment of my wife. I don't think things through very much. Jason turns up, and Jason tells her, when she says that how can you stand by and take another wife after everything I've done for you? And how can you stand by while I and your children are being sent into exile? And Jason's like, this is all your fault. This is all your fault, because you wouldn't be quiet and stay in the house and behave like a proper Greek wife. Here am I brought you from a barbaric land to Greece, which more or less from Medea's perspective is, you took me from my home to this crap hole. Thank you so much. Jason is like, you'd think you'd be grateful. I am marrying, I'm sacrificing myself to marry a beautiful blonde virgin daughter of the king in order to better our position. But you can't think of anything more than your bed. And that through this marriage, our boys would have brothers who are princes. I was doing this to better us, which persuades Medea about negative 1,000%. She is really angry now. How dare he? How very dare he? And so when he leaves, basically saying, this is all your fault for not being a proper Grecian wife, which is translation for, you weren't a doormat and you didn't just go along with everything I said, so, yeah. Which is like, well, you're charming, aren't you? What did I ever see in you? And so Medea plots her revenge. She is not going to go, she might be forced into exile, but she is not going to go quietly. And she is not going to leave these insults unreplied to. Now, she's not quite certain how she's going to do this until she meets Aegisthus. Now, Aegisthus will be the father of Theseus. He is travelling through on his way back from the oracle at Delphi, because he wants to find out why he hasn't had any children yet. He hasn't had any. And Medea asks, did you get a reply? And he says yes. And he greets her as a friend. He knows her. So she tells him this terrible thing that's happened to her, her exile, and asks him, will you give me sanctuary? Will you protect me no matter who comes or what they say has happened? Which is a good sign she's planning something really nasty. And in return, I will ensure that you have a son. I know I have herbs. You know I'm a great magician. You know that I can do these things. And so Theseus says yes. He says, but he does say you have to find your own way to Athens. Medea's like, no, that's cool. I can do that. But I need you to swear by the gods, an unbreakable oath that you will protect me once I am in Athens. Aegisthus says, I don't see why you need that, but if you do need that, I swear I will protect you once you get there. And Medea's like, well, I'll see you in Athens. Yeah, everything's coming up Medea. So, Medea now has sanctuary. All she needs is means to get there, which she's the granddaughter of a god. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Medea now plots her revenge. Again, Jason comes and she begs Jason, please, please beg Creon not to send our boys into exile. I'm prepared to go, but please, for the sake of this, do not beg him not to send our children into exile. And Jason, who really does not care about his children, or he would not have been so quick to abandon them, says, Creon's not really in the mood. we do sort of understand now why Alcestis was so worried about her children after she died. It looks like the children of the first wife are somewhat disposable, much like the first wife, which is what Jason is more or less. And Medea says, ask Chrysia, and she will beg her father, and then they can stay. I will give Chrysia a beautiful dress and a golden diadem. And Jason says, you really shouldn't be giving your stuff to Chrysia. She has plenty of dresses and plenty of jewels. You're going to need them in exile. And Medea's like, no, I'm going, let our sons deliver them, and so that she may see how lovely they are, and beg her father for them to stay. And so Jason's like, oh, all right. Now Medea knows what she's going to do. Now the chorus come in and out a couple of times and sort of, like, oh, we fear for what Medea will do, blah, blah, blah. So Medea has the dress and the diadem, and she poisons them. She poisons them with a particularly nasty poison. And she has these put together and gives these to her children, and she sends them to Chrysia. And then she sits back and she waits. And she waits. And pretty soon, she doesn't have to wait very long, but pretty soon a messenger comes screaming in saying, you've got to get out of here. You've got to get out of here. Do you have any idea what happened? Chrysia put those gifts on, and she burnt. She burnt. And they stuck to her, and she burnt until she was unrecognizable. And then Creon grasped his daughter and stuck to her. The dress stuck to him, and he burnt. She's killed them both. She's like, oh. There's still Jason. There's still Jason. She wants to hurt Jason. It's not good enough to just get rid of her rival and the king. She really wants to hurt Jason, because she's going to kill their children. She is also going to kill their children because, and this is something Euripides does that nobody else does, is have Medea kill her children. Because in other versions of this, the people of Corinth kill the children for delivering these poison gifts. But Medea, who really, really wants to hurt Jason, she then goes and seeks out the children. Partly, she doesn't want the people of Corinth to kill them, because now that they're implicated in her crimes, they're toast. They're toast. But also, she does want to hurt Jason. She doesn't want to just take them and pack them off to exile, which she could do. She could do that. She could take the children, pack them off into exile. They've got free passage. She has a way of getting passage. She has sanctuary that will be defended. She could pack them off into exile. But that won't hurt Jason. That won't hurt Jason the way that he has hurt her. And so she kills the children. And at this, the chorus stand outside, because Greek plays all take place on the threshold. This entire play takes place on the threshold of Medea's house. Like all of them. Outside, the chorus hear the murder of the children, and they hesitate. They know exactly what Medea is doing. They know that she is killing the children. They can hear the cries of the children. And yet they stand and just listen. They say, should we go and help them? But they don't. So now they are implicated. They're implicated in a way, like they're implicated through their inaction, through not defending the children. So they cease to be innocent bystanders, which is unusual for a Greek chorus, because the Greek choruses are usually innocent bystanders, giving commentary. They don't actually get involved. Here, they deliberately don't get involved when they could potentially, but they don't. Jason comes to Medea. Absolutely, you know, what have you done? What have you done to his bride and the king and this? And out comes Medea. Out comes Medea in a chariot led by dragons. It's a sky chariot. It is given to her by her grandfather. She is going to fly to Athens, literally. And in the chariot, she has the bodies of her children. And Jason is... Suddenly, he remembers he has children and that he cares about them. So his grief seems a little bit put on, to be honest. More or less because it's like, oh, suddenly, having lost the possibility of more children, which I preferred the idea of, with having, you know, not biracial children or bi-ethnic children. I was planning on having like fully Greek children, which I think of as superior. All of a sudden, with that off the table, I remember my forgotten biracial children. And all of it, and now he's horrified. Now he's even more horrified. Not only did Medea kill the king and his bride, she has now killed their own children. And he says, can I at least have the bodies? And she says, no, I'm not leaving their bodies here where their graves will be dug up and desecrated. I'm going to take them and bury them away from you, where they won't be in the temple of Hera, where they won't be disturbed. Her behavior is very contradictory in some ways, because she's not. It's very careful to make her actions, I won't say understandable, but mixed. She wants to hurt Jason, but they are still her children. And even though she has killed them, she does not want to give them up. They are her children. She's not going to abandon them at this point. And so she leaves Jason, lamenting what he has gone and stuffed up, while she flies off in the sky chariot with the children. It is a rare case of the villain getting away, where the Deus Ex Machina does not make it all good. The Deus Ex Machina is on the part of the villain. It is a play where the villain is genuinely a villain. She is an archetypical villain. She has blood on her hands well before she gets to this. She has killed her brother. She has killed her uncle-in-law, or caused her uncle-in-law to be murdered by his own daughters. She has actively killed the king of Corinth and his heir, and she's also killed her own children, and yet she gets away with it. The Milwaukee Family Players had brilliant time with this. They got to overact like mad. I didn't really mind. They've been a bit curtailed for a while, but Medea gave them really scope to go for it. And the female members of the Milwaukee Family Players don't often get a chance to do that. So they had too good a time, really, for them, considering this is supposed to be punishment. They really, I think it might have been cathartic for some of them. But anyway, it's a really interesting play because of the nature of it, the fact that it doesn't give you the villainous thing was overcome, unless you count that Jason's the villain. If Jason's the villain did. Because what did he do? What did Jason do? Is he pushed a person who is not only not a citizen, being a woman, but doubly not a citizen, being a foreigner, beyond the realms of reason. Medea is mad with grief. Medea has literally sacrificed everything of her world to be with him, and he throws her away for a blonde virgin and a chance at a throne. Medea is forced to come to terms with the fact that the person she fell in love with, the person she thought she knew, the person she thought she was having her life with, was a scumbag. He was useless. He didn't have her commitment. He didn't have her loyalty. He was not all in like she was. She's killed for him. He should have killed for him. If he wanted that throne, he should have killed his uncle. He's even more useless than Hamlet. He should have killed his uncle and killed his cousin to get the throne if he wanted it that badly. Especially after going and getting the golden fleece. But no, he sat on his hands and he said, my dear witch wife, do you think you could get rid of my uncle for me so I can have the throne? And Medea said, yes, I will. So he's not even much of a man. He's asking a woman to do a man's job. So what kind of king could he possibly make? Now, Medea could make a queen. Medea could make a queen. She would be a terrifying queen. She would be an absolute terrifying despot. I'm not saying that she's not going to be that, but she would be a queen. Jason can't even take a kingdom. And then when he's offered a kingdom, how's he offered it? It's offered underhand. It's offered, dump your wife. Dump your wife and marry my daughter. You've got kids, yeah. Dump your wife. She's getting a bit old. She's getting a bit old. She's foreign. She's dark. She's weird. Dump your wife. Get a nice new model. And so it's Jason's thoughtlessness, his misogyny, his just sheer laziness and his unwillingness to do the sorts of things that the Greeks see as a man's job that leads to Jason being utterly devastated at the end of the play. Medea's a demigod. She is quasi-divine. Her grandfather is a god. Her aunt is a demigoddess sea witch who turns mariners into pigs and things. Odysseus meets her. The fact that Odysseus meets her is like, okay, these guys are like, she's old. Being a demigod means a long life. Medea is clever and has an exit strategy. So you get Jason, who is just so dumb. And he does this to his semi-divine wife. He underestimates her. He thinks, oh, this is just you just have a thing because you're not going to be getting any. And she's insulted by that because she has been a faithful wife. She has done everything that he has asked her at great personal cost. And then he treats her like that. This is a play not about demonizing Medea more than she already is as like one of the great villainesses of literature. But it's a way of telling that audience of men, because this is told exclusively to an audience of men. This is telling that audience of men, be careful. Be careful of your wives. Be careful of the foreigners. Do not treat them with disrespect and contempt, because you never know who might be among them. And that as much as you think you have power, your power is contingent upon the compliance and the obedience of the slaves and the women. And when you push them too far, when you piss them off, they might really, really lose it. And then you have no one to blame but yourself. So that's Medea. Which it is a very interesting play. There isn't really another one quite like it. Almost every other play, the villain is punished. But Euripides goes and inverts what we think of as a villain and what we think of as a victim. Medea's a victim, and she's a victim who has been victimized to a point of lashing out viciously because of what has happened to her, what has been done to her, and the fact that she so ill deserved it, and the fact that her dumbass husband forgot, oh, I have a super magic witch for a wife, maybe I don't dump her. But yeah, it is a unique play in the ancient Greeks. So that's Medea. I'm not sure what I'm going to bring next. We'll have to wait and see. I didn't think I was bringing Medea, but there you go, Medea. So anyway, I will be back later with another play. And until then, bye-bye. If you would like to support this channel, come across to the Black Cockie Press website, www.blackcockiepress.com.au, where you will find books and other writing services to help with your writing.